Mo money, mo problems. That classic Notorious B.I.G. song rings true for many rappers, and Dr. Dre is no exception. Dr. Dre has raked in millions during his rap career, but he blew a lot of that on mansions, luxurious trips, expensive watches, and fancy cars. Luckily, he has some side hustles going that allow him to pay for this lavish lifestyle. Dr. Dre's net worth skyrocketed thanks to his business ventures. Some might say his business acumen is even more impressive than his rhyming skills. This is how Dr. Dre spends all of that hard-earned cash. Dr. Dre faced a lot of hardship early in his life. His story is a true rags-to-riches tale. He may have grown up dirt poor, but today he is worth north of $800 million. Dr. Dre worked tirelessly to earn his millions. He parlayed his rhyming skills into a successful rap career, and then he turned that rap career into a business empire that is unmatched by pretty much anyone except for Jay-Z. Dr. Dre dropped out of high school to pursue a career in music. That may have seemed like a dumb decision at the time, but it definitely paid off. He soon found himself DJing as a teen. Stardom followed when NWA hit it big. NWA is considered one of the most iconic hip-hop groups of all time, and the group would not have been nearly as successful without Dr. Dre.
NWA not only changed music, but we changed pop culture.
If you haven't seen Straight Outta Compton yet, you really need to check it out. Next came producing, and then even more money. Finally, he hit pay dirt when he co-founded Beats Electronics. After Apple bought Beats, Dr. Dre famously proclaimed he would be the first hip-hop billionaire. That hasn't happened yet, but it could in the very near future. Rappers love to flaunt cash, but Dr. Dre is ballin' on a whole nother level. Dr. Dre's breakthrough came with NWA, and then he started raking in the cash. But even though it was far more than he was making as a teen, it wasn't enough. Dr. Dre left NWA and formed Death Row Records in 1991. His debut solo album, The Chronic, sold 5.7 million copies, and he started pulling in the stacks of cash. Dollar bills on dollar bills on dollar bills. For many, this would have been enough. Dr. Dre was always about doing his own thing, and now he was stacking chips. He started earning really fast money when he started producing. This was a far more lucrative game than rhyming. He showed his street smarts and was pulling in millions for his input. He founded Aftermath Records in 1996, and all of the big stars wanted Dr. Dre as a producer. He produced Mary J. Blige's Family Affair for a cool $2 million. Artists who weren't signed to Aftermath had to pay Dr. Dre $250,000 per track for his producing skills. Dre discovered Eminem and 50 Cent, and both hit it big with Aftermath. You could say that they both owe their careers to Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre proved he could not just make millions for himself, but help others launch their own empires too. Aftermath was a success of epic proportions, but Dr. Dre knew that it was time to move on to bigger and better things. And by bigger and better things, we mean more money. Dr. Dre earned a cool $35 million when he sold his stake in Aftermath to Interscope Records. Dr. Dre's biggest money-making venture was just beginning. He launched Beats Electronics in 2006 with Jimmy Iovine, and by 2008, Beats by Dre headphones were everywhere. Everyone had to have a pair of these iconic headphones. They were high-quality and practical headphones, but they were also a fashion statement. Dr. Dre made $100 million when Beats was sold to HTC, but the company eventually bought back its shares, and Dr. Dre was back in control. Apple CEO Tim Cook took notice of the success and popularity of Beats by Dre, and Apple eventually bought Beats Electronics for a staggering $3 billion. It was a truly unprecedented move because Apple rarely buys out other companies. Dr. Dre pocketed $500 million from the sale, and his path to billionaire status took another huge step forward. Don't be fooled by Dre's massive earnings. He doesn't just sit on his cash, he likes to have fun too. He hasn't blown through his money fast enough to go broke, but he has spent millions on luxurious mansions, incredible sports cars, extravagant trips, and plenty of bling. He's even willing to give his money away if it's for a good cause. Dr. Dre's biggest purchase was a 14,000 square foot mansion that he bought for $40 million. This lavish pad located in Brentwood, California was once owned by Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen. Mansions don't get much more impressive than this, but Dr. Dre wasn't satisfied with the moat, infinity pool, and stunning view of the Pacific Ocean. Dre wanted to make this mansion even cooler, so he drew up plans for a 10,000 square foot music studio under the mansion. Dr. Dre's multi-millionaire status means that he has more than one property. He bought a $2.4 million mansion in Woodland Hills in 1999, but this was just the first of many extravagant buys. He spent $12.5 million on a stunning 8,800 square foot mansion in Carbon Beach, Malibu. Carbon Beach is famously known as Billionaire Beach, and Dr. Dre has plenty of neighbors with just as much cash as he has, and many with much more. His $12.5 million beachfront property is actually one of the more affordable mansions in the area. Dr. Dre doesn't just keep his properties forever. If there's a profit to be made, he'll take it. He sold his 9,696 square foot Hollywood Hills mansion for $32.5 million and listed an impressive plot of land in Hidden Hills for $14.5 million. Dr. Dre was a long way from Compton now. Dr. Dre really knows how to party. When you're as loaded as he is, partying comes easy. Dr. Dre rented a private helicopter so that he and his wife could see Hamilton on Broadway. He then threw down plenty of cash to rent a luxury yacht for a European cruise. Dr. Dre and his wife were joined by Exhibit for this fabulous week-long European voyage. Rappers typically love bling, but Dr. Dre likes to be a bit more classy when it comes to his jewelry. He doesn't sport gaudy chains like many rappers do. Instead, he likes to keep things subtle and go with one special piece. For Dre, it's watches. He is the complete opposite of rappers like Lil Wayne, who famously sported a $1 million diamond-encrusted pair of Beats by Dre at a Lakers game. Why waste money on a diamond grill when you can wear an exclusive timepiece? Dr. Dre has an incredible collection of watches, and Rolexes are his favorite. A gold Rolex Day-Date and Rolex Diamond Masterpiece are just a couple of the watches in Dre's collection. He also loves to give watches as gifts. Rick Ross received a fabulous $100,000 Hublot watch from Dr. Dre as a gift. It pays to have friends in high places. Some celebs like watches, others like cars, but Dr. Dre loves both. His fleet of luxury supercars is nothing to sneer at. His garage is filled with dream cars and powerful machines. The most impressive car in his collection is easily his $450,000 Rolls-Royce Phantom Drophead Coupe. The lowriders that Dr. Dre drove in his Still DRE music video were cool, but they're nothing compared to a Rolls-Royce. Is there anything more gangsta than rolling into the hood in a Rolls-Royce? Dr. Dre's garage is filled with plenty of other impressive vehicles, like a $200,000 Bentley Continental GT Coupe that was a gift from Eminem, and a $68,000 Hummer H2. He even has a $200,000 Cadillac Escalade. Why would an Escalade be that much? Well, Dr. Dre really went all out and pimped this ride. Dre's custom Escalade has a pull-out fridge, luxury seats, full-size TV, and desks. It's his mobile office on wheels. The collection doesn't end there. Dr. Dre also has 4 Porsches, a Chrysler 300S, and multiple Ferraris. Dr. Dre is a big fan of Ferraris and showcased a Ferrari 360 in his I Need a Doctor music video. That Ferrari met a terrible fate when it was totaled. There's no question Dre keeps his personal Ferraris in much better shape. Dr. Dre doesn't hoard his money, and he doesn't blow it all on extravagant items. He treats his friends well and buys them gifts. If he sees a worthwhile charity, he's more than happy to donate some of his hard-earned money. Dr. Dre donated $70 million to the University of Southern California to create the Jimmy Iovine and Andre Young Academy of the Arts. This was a welcome gesture meant to help students with their creative endeavors. However, controversy arose when Dr. Dre's daughter was later accepted to USC. There may be no correlation, but many were upset considering how prevalent college admission scandals have become in the world of Hollywood. "My daughter got into USC all on her own, no jail time," he wrote on Instagram. Dr. Dre's wealth is truly almost unprecedented in the world of rap. Only Jay-Z and Beyoncé have the same kind of wealth. Dr. Dre has spent years amassing an empire, but the future might not be so bright. Proclaiming that he would be the first hip-hop billionaire might have been a jinx. Dre is facing an uncertain future, and he's now dealing with divorce proceedings. Nicole Young filed for divorce from Dr. Dre last month, and this could be the biggest expense of Dre's life. A $40 million mansion is nothing compared to losing half of your net worth. Dre and Nicole Young have been married for 24 years, and if the divorce goes through, Dre could lose $400 million as he does not have a prenup. Yikes.
Sometimes things like this happen.
That has to hurt. That is probably not what Dr. Dre had in mind when he wrote For the Love of Money. Are you impressed with how much money Dr. Dre has earned in his lifetime? Would you spend money like he has if you had close to $1 billion? Let us know in the comments below. What do you think is the most outrageous thing that Dr. Dre has spent his money on? Do you think his money will last? Will he ever reach billionaire status? Will his divorce be too much to overcome? Leave your comments and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.